Now at 9, Chautauqua council members decide what's next after 3 out of 4 of the town's police officers resign.
Excitement here at St. Patrick's Cathedral after news of the first American Pope in the history of the Catholic Church. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the latest coming up.
It's National Nursing Week. A Missouri Southern professor tells me there's something very special about the graduating class this year. I'm Lonnie Walton in Joplin. I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Southeast Kansas community loses 3 out of 4 of its police officers and leans to the county for coverage. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Tanya Bach. The Chautauqua City Council held a special council meeting today to decide on temporary law enforcement coverage from Labette County. Today's meeting follows last night's heated Chautauqua City Council meeting. At that meeting, 3 out of 4 officers of the police department resigned, including the police chief. Those resigning cited a hostile work environment and that they, quote, cannot in good conscience continue to work there. And during this afternoon's meeting, it was agreed that the Labette County Sheriff's Office would provide day and night coverage free of charge for the first 2 months.
So the agreement is that we would help them for 2 months until they got their office in order. And if it had to go beyond that, we could talk contracts. You know, by that time they should have enough officers that they won't need us to help, and that's what I hope anyway. You know, but we're still going to help them, you know, whether they're full house or not.
The council agreed to let the resigning officers keep their custom body armor, and one of the officers had also had a running contract with the city. That contract is now considered null and void. Well, history is made at the Vatican today. Not only did the College of Cardinals officially elect the Catholic Church's 267th Pope, they also picked the first American Pope in history. Fox News' correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
Catholics in St. Peter's Square and around the world, including right here in New York City, are celebrating the surprise announcement of the first ever American Pope leading the Catholic Church. An American flag waving in St. Peter's Square after the announcement that surprised the world. Chicago native Robert Francis Prevost becoming the first American Pope and taking the name Pope Leo XIV, ushering in a new era for the 2,000-year-old Roman Catholic Church after 12 years of leadership under Pope Francis.
I think it's a great thing for the world to have an American. I think that it will help unite us.
As Cardinal, Prevost was closely aligned with Pope Francis, and it's thought his papacy could follow in Francis's footsteps, focusing on the less fortunate.
I've been a missionary my whole life, and I was working in Peru. But I am American, and I think I do have some insights into the church in the United States.
To have the Pope from the United States of America, that's a great honor.
It's a proud moment for Catholics nationwide, but especially in Chicago, celebrating one of their own as leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics.
Of course, that's a sense of pride, but Pope Leo XIV is first and foremost a child of God, and that means he is here to serve all of God's people.
Here outside St. Patrick's Cathedral, there is an air of excitement and anticipation as Leo's papacy begins. In New York City, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And 4 staters are also taking part in the celebrations for the new Pope. St. Peter's the Apostle Catholic Church in Joplin rescheduled its Mass today so parishioners could come together and pray for Pope Leo XIV. Community members gathered together in the chapel at Mercy Hospital for the historic occasion. Not only celebrating a new voice in the Vatican, but also the fact he is from the U.S. Catholics in the 4 states say it's a monumental moment for Catholicism and the United States.
It's incredible to think that he is one of us, that he's like us. Chicago's not that far, you know, and somebody who knows what it's like to be an American, and I think it's just an exciting moment.
Father Brian says he anticipates a full and excited Mass this coming Sunday when more parishioners are able to come together. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, finally, we are going to get the showers and thunderstorms that we've had out of here, just kind of scattered about over the past couple days. It's going to cool down a little bit, so by morning, we're going to be sitting into lower 50s, but we're going to actually get a really nice stretch of weather as we go through the next few days. Already by Friday afternoon, we should go into lower 70s, plenty of sunshine, a little light northeasterly breeze. Now, by Saturday morning, it gets kind of cool. We drop back into low to mid 40s, but we go into the mid 70s during the afternoon. All right, so for tonight, 60 by 11, I think our overnight low kind of dipping down into the mid 50s. And today, not bad. We hit 69 below our average high of 75 degrees. But of course, we're going to go back into the 70s the next few days. We're going to look at that weekend forecast coming up here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, this is National Nurses Week. Missouri Southern nursing students will graduate this weekend at a time when much of the nation faces a nursing shortage. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, this group of nurses has the school's highest scores on the standardized exit exams in a decade.
We spoke with a local student about why she became a nurse and a professor who says it's much needed.
A monumental step for me in my career and in my life, just in general.
Elizabeth Smith will be graduating from Missouri Southern this week with her bachelor's degree in nursing. She says she has all the goods for the field.
Educated, maintaining your education throughout this field, as well as being a compassionate person towards everyone.
Education is definitely important, according to Lisa Beal, the chair of Missouri Southern Nursing Program.
To provide them with the quality education and the experiences that they need, it needs to be rigorous because they're taking care of human patients. And, you know, every life matters.
Beal says this program at MSSU is thriving.
Unique program. We're very supportive for our students and, of course, our outcomes with 100% NCLEX pass rate for the last 2 years.
And Beal says this education is much needed.
They're projecting worldwide, up to the year about 2030, that the world will need 5.6 million nurses to take care of everybody.
And the professor said it's the hard work of the faculty and staff to make this program a success. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The professor also says she's proud of the international students in her program. Well, coming up, a new name, putting America first.
President Trump's America First agenda moves ahead as the House passes the Gulf of America Act. I'm Alexandria Hoff at the White House. I'll have the latest coming up.
But first, while some stress can help us take on certain tasks, health experts say it's important to manage and relieve all types of stress in healthy ways. Whether you're applying for a job or have an important event coming up, health experts say it's okay to have some stress as long as you're managing it properly. Fox News' Ted Linder has more.
Health experts say stress is a daily occurrence, but how we deal with it is the key.
We go to the doctor for our hearts, our muscles, our lungs, but we also need to go to the doctor and realize our brain needs help as well.
Rhonda Ron, a public health professor at Texas A&M University, says not all stress is bad for our brains.
When you're stressed in a positive way, your body can get real excited, and the good stress can help kind of push you forward and help you excel in whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Other stress can have a negative impact on your mind and body, and relying on unhealthy habits to deal with it can make things worse.
Maybe we go and we eat too much sugar, or maybe we end up drinking too much alcohol that we shouldn't really drink that much.
Ron says there's a variety of ways to manage any types of stress, which can also lead to improved mental and physical health.
If it's reading, if it's watching movies, if it's playing video games for 3 hours at a time, if it's running, just whatever it is that helps you to manage that stress is going to be helpful.
Time management can also be a source of stress. Ron recommends prioritizing important tasks throughout your day to properly manage any stress you're feeling.
Put your tasks that you have to do in a priority list, essentially. The things that we have to do right now that are urgent and super important versus urgent but not important.
There are also ways to manage your stress even when you're not awake.
And don't forget to sleep. Sleep is super important. So we've got about 6 to 8 of those 24 hours that are used to sleep, because that's when your body needs to heal.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Health officials in Missouri are warning of a possible measles exposure at the St. Louis Aquarium. They say an unvaccinated Illinois resident with a confirmed case of measles visited the aquarium at the end of April. Anyone there during that time should monitor themselves for measles symptoms. The symptoms can include fever, runny nose, cough, red eyes, and a red bumpy rash. They can take 1 to 2 weeks to show up following exposure. This is the second measles case reported in Missouri this year. More than 1,000 cases have been reported in the U.S. so far this year. We're learning more about how sleep apnea can damage memory. A study by the American Academy of Neurology found the lower oxygen levels sleep apnea patients experience during sleep damage the brain's small blood vessels. And that damage can not only negatively impact a person's memory, it can also contribute to Alzheimer's disease. A new study is highlighting just how common sexual assault against children is. The research published in The Lancet found nearly 1 in 5 women said they experienced sexual violence as a child. 1 in 7 men also said they were assaulted as children. The rates of child sexual assault were high worldwide, regardless of a country's income level. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, PSU students show off their graphic design projects in a senior showcase.
We've definitely had the hit and miss showers across the region, even some thunderstorms on Wednesday. The showers much lighter for us today, so only 2/100ths of an inch. Officially at the airport in Joplin, only 1/4 of an inch over the past few days. Now, some areas picked up an inch, 1.5 inches, so it really just depends on where you live. For the year and our average, we're pretty close to where we should be. We are officially out of the drought. Let's hope we don't slide back into it once we get into the summer months. We got some really nice weather moving in over the next few days. Kind of cool in the morning. Most of us 52, 53 degrees to start. We're looking at 6:30 in the morning. Let's go to the noon hour, looking pretty good. Upper 60s to near 70. Northeasterly wind kicking in, hair breezy, maybe gusts right around 15 miles per hour. As we get into your Friday afternoon, just a few high level clouds. Again, that light northeasterly wind, but I think most of us 71, 72, 73 for afternoon highs. So Friday looks good. Let's go into your weekend. Of course, Saturday, it drops back a little bit cooler. So it's going to be a chilly start into the mid 40s. It'll be dewy outside once we get into Saturday afternoon. A few wispy high-level cirrus clouds, but temperatures a little bit warmer as we go into the mid 70s for highs. And then by Sunday morning, of course, Sunday is Mother's Day, we drop back again near 50 degrees. All right, your Friday day planner, 54 to start, 70 by noon, high temp, about 72 degrees during the afternoon. On Saturday, 73, high temp is 76. By the time we head into Sunday, of course, tonight, we back down into the mid 50s for overnight lows. But hey, at least we get a chance to dry out just a bit. So the system on top of us now is this guy. He's going to move all the way down near the Gulf Coast as we go into Saturday. He actually kind of retrogrades or lifts back toward the northwest once we get into Monday. So we are going to have to put a chance in to get some afternoon showers by Monday afternoon. Then this storm will zip on by. Then we watch whatever happens late next week. We have the potential for strong to severe storms with a couple waves which roll out. On Wednesday is kind of our first low chance. I think we're going to be in a capped environment, but our chances may increase a little bit on Thursday. But I think our best chances start to move in Friday and then into Saturday. So we're going to have to watch that stretch for strong to severe thunderstorms. And then right behind it, we start to reload once again right around May 20th, May 21st. So severe weather chances at least low late next week, but will start to creep up as we head toward next weekend. It's May, so put it in the back of your mind. All right, 72 on Friday, 73 Saturday, 76 on Sunday. Let's go 78 on Monday with a few scattered showers. Now, all next week, nice warm up. It's going to feel like May. Temperatures into the mid 80s for highs.
Well, coming up, teacher satisfaction.
2/3 of American teachers say they're satisfied with their jobs. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington with what is and isn't driving educator fulfillment coming up.
With graduation right around the corner, graphic communication students are showcasing the projects they've been working on all semester. Everything from photo and video to print media. One student even displaying a 3D printed lamp of his own design. Today's showcase serves as the students' capstone project before graduation.
Only had to buy a few things for this. Everything else was just with the lab fees. So just the support with the faculty and then the university as a whole, being able to actually let me use the printers, the industry printers to do this and actually produce a product that's pretty professional and I can put it in my portfolio is pretty important.
Today's event was open to the public and attendees could also offer feedback for the students. Well, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week as we honor educators from coast to coast. A new survey reveals some of the challenges they face in the classroom. Fox's Caroline Shively has more on the study.
Being a teacher is one of the hardest jobs. You have to juggle so much.
The more than 3 million public school teachers across the country are grappling with serious classroom challenges, including learning loss, burnout, and a lack of essential resources and support.
Only a third of teachers say that they feel like they have access to the supports and opportunities they need to do what they do best every day.
Roughly half of teachers say they have what they need to help students succeed, according to a new Gallup and Walton Family Foundation survey. That number is even lower in urban and lower income districts.
Those supports include things like access to high quality instructional materials, which help teachers feel prepared and confident in what they're teaching and give them the resources they need to tailor and personalize learning for students.
Despite the challenges, the study shows 2/3 of K-12 educators are satisfied with their job, largely driven by professional growth, flexibility, and collaboration with peers. However,
the teachers who are the most dissatisfied are the ones in the highest need schools.
Teachers work an average of 50 hours a week, and nearly half report feeling burned out. That burnout can trickle down to students as educators are vital in shaping their success.
When teachers have the time, trust, and tools to feel excited and motivated about what they're teaching, we know that results in greater student excitement and engagement, and in turn, more student learning.
Nearly 1 in 5 teachers revealing they may not return to the classroom next year, according to the study. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, a warning from the Food and Drug Administration for anyone considering a new tattoo. Certain colors of sacred tattoo ink are being recalled because they may be contaminated with bacteria. The recall affects certain batches of the colors Raven Black and Sunny Days. The FDA says infection from the contaminated ink could result in a serious injury or permanent scarring. Looking to make a move? Beware. Up next, cities where you can earn 6 figures and still be broke. Well, having a 6-figure income for a family of 3 doesn't let you figure your way out of money trouble. According to Lending Tree, in 1 out of every 4 U.S. large metro areas, earning at least $100,000 a year per household could still mean you're considered broke after expenses are calculated. The analysis shows 25 cities where household monthly incomes were in the negative. 10 of the 25 are in California. All of the top 25 metro areas showed monthly expenditures over $8,300 a month. Now, the top 10 hardest hit are San Jose, California, San Francisco, Boston, Honolulu, Hawaii, Oxnard, California, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, San Diego, Seattle, and Poughkeepsie, New York. Well, a church in East Texas is cleaning up after an unusual break-in involving a goat. Officials at First Baptist Church Mixon say the animal ran through glass doors after seeing its reflection and then ran through the building. Administrative assistant and animal control tried to contain it, but the goat broke free and ran into nearby woods. Now, the church estimates the damage at around $1,600, and the goat remains on the loose. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. A controversial vote to rename the Gulf of Mexico clears the House, with lawmakers now set to debate whether the Gulf of America should become federal law. And tensions escalate between India and Pakistan with new drone strikes, civilian casualties, and growing fears of a nuclear conflict. as the U.S. steps in to push for a ceasefire.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The House votes to confirm the Gulf of America Act, which would solidify President Trump's executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico. Democrats, though, are criticizing the decision. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more.
211, the nays are 206. The bill is passed.
With that House vote, the Gulf of Mexico is one step closer to becoming the Gulf of America under federal law. On his first day in office, President Trump signed an executive order renaming the body of water. The Republican-led bill not only changes the name, but also requires federal agencies to update maps and documents with the new title.
As we rename the Gulf of America, we are also taking pride in those waters.
The legislation now moves to the Senate for consideration, though it's unclear if it will pass there. Democrats have criticized the vote, saying it's a waste of time and taxpayer money.
It's extraordinary that this is the top of the Republican agenda at a time when they are crashing the economy and hurting everyday Americans, raising costs and driving us toward a recession.
This is not a joke to the people I represent. They want help. They want help with the cost of living.
But it appears the Trump administration is not done making changes to the map. The president is expected to announce next week that the U.S. will soon refer to the Persian Gulf as the Arabian Gulf, a move that Iran has called, quote, hostile.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't know if feelings are going to be hurt. Why have a case right over here? It's called Gulf of America.
Trump's Gulf of America order only carries authority in the U.S., so other countries do not have to recognize the name change. At the White House, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Well, President Trump announces a new trade deal with the United Kingdom, cutting tariffs on autos and eliminating them on steel and aluminum imports. In exchange, the U.S. gains expanded access to British markets for products like beef and aircraft. Meanwhile, negotiations with China remain uncertain ahead of trade talks set for this weekend. Well, Ford is hiking its prices on 3 vehicle models that are made in Mexico, due in part to higher import tariffs. The U.S. automaker says the Bronco Sport, Mach-E, and Maverick will each go up $2,000. Ford adds that the price hikes will impact vehicles built after May 2nd and that cars already shipped or on the lot will not be impacted. Well, clashes between the Indian and Pakistani militaries in Kashmir escalate as India targets Pakistan's air defenses. A sign more airstrikes could be coming. Fox News correspondent Stephanie Bennett has the latest.
The fighting between the Indian and Pakistani militaries intensified overnight. India fired at least a dozen attack drones into Pakistani territory, wounding 4 soldiers. The attack targeted Pakistan's air defense system, a sign more airstrikes could be coming if the Pakistanis don't crack down on militant groups operating in the disputed Kashmir region.
It's up to Pakistan to decide whether they associate themselves with these subhuman monsters or they actually carry out a concrete action against their facilities.
It came a day after an Indian missile attack killed at least 31 civilians in Pakistani-controlled areas of Kashmir, a retaliation for a terror attack last month that left 26 Hindu tourists dead. The world is now watching and waiting, with the threat of a nuclear conflict growing.
That's the key takeaway here. These are not just 2 countries sparring with each other. These are 2 nuclear states that are rivals.
The Pakistani government says the U.S. is now leading international efforts to get a ceasefire in place, and they're calling on President Trump to become more engaged.
The president has pronounced himself as a peacemaker, as a legacy of peace that he would like to bequeath during his presidency.
The president says he'll try his best to get both sides to back down.
I want to see it stop. And if I can do anything to help, I will be there.
Pakistan's defense minister says he is preparing a retaliatory strike that will include Indian military targets. In London, Stephanie Bennett, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And a little later, a number of elite for an annual band festival.
Phil gets an offer.
We've definitely had the hit and miss showers across the region, even some thunderstorms on Wednesday. The showers much lighter for us today, so only 2/100ths of an inch. Officially at the airport in Joplin, only 1/4 of an inch over the past few days. Now, some areas picked up an inch, inch and a half, so it really just depends on where you live. For the year and our average, we're pretty close to where we should be. We are officially out of the drought. Let's hope we don't slide back into it once we get into the summer months. We got some really nice weather moving in over the next few days. Kind of cool in the morning. Most of us 52, 53 degrees to start. We're looking at 6:30 in the morning. Let's go to the noon hour, looking pretty good. Upper 60s to near 70. Northeasterly wind kicking in, hair breezy, maybe gusts right around 15 miles per hour. As we get into your Friday afternoon, just a few high-level clouds. Again, that light northeasterly wind, but I think most of us 71, 72, 73 for afternoon highs. So Friday looks good. Let's go into your weekend. Of course, Saturday, it drops back a little bit cooler, so it's going to be a chilly start. Into the mid-40s, it'll be dewy outside. Once we get into Saturday afternoon, a few wispy high-level cirrus clouds, but temperatures a little bit warmer as we go into the mid-70s for highs. And then by Sunday morning, of course, Sunday is Mother's Day, we drop back again near 50 degrees. All right, your Friday day planner, 54 to start, 70 by noon, high temp, about 72 degrees during the afternoon. On Saturday, 73, high temp is 76. By the time we head into Sunday, of course, tonight, we back down into the mid-50s for overnight lows. But hey, at least we get a chance to dry out just a bit. So the system on top of us now is this guy. He's going to move all the way down near the Gulf Coast as we go into Saturday. He actually kind of retrogrades or lifts back toward the northwest once we get into Monday. So we are going to have to put a chance in to get some afternoon showers by Monday afternoon. Then this storm will zip on by. Then we watch whatever happens late next week. We have the potential for strong to severe storms with a couple waves which roll out. On Wednesday is kind of our first low chance. I think we're going to be in a capped environment, but our chances may increase a little bit on Thursday. But I think our best chances start to move in Friday and then into Saturday. So we're going to have to watch that stretch for strong to severe thunderstorms. And then right behind it, we start to reload once again right around May 20th, May 21st. So severe weather chances at least low late next week, but will start to creep up as we head toward next weekend. It's May, so put it in the back of your mind. All right, 72 on Friday, 73 Saturday, 76 on Sunday. Let's go 78 on Monday with a few scattered showers. Now, all next week, nice warm up. It's going to feel like May. Temperatures into the mid-80s for highs.
Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern softball each play their first games at the NCAA tournament. Plus, MSSU baseball tries to take down the #3 team in the country to keep its season alive. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Kicks off at 8 Eastern.
It's the quarterfinal round of the 2025 MIAA baseball tournament. For Pittsburgh State, this is the postseason debut. Missouri Southern, on the other hand, had to play in the opening round yesterday, a game they won 7-3. Missouri Southern baseball hoping for a big upset, taking on the #1 team in the conference and #3 in the country, Central Missouri. Lions already up 3-0, top of the second, and Cy Darnell blasts this pitch off the wall in left field. He slides in safely with a double and would score later in the frame. It's 4-0, top of the third. Nate Miskowski keeps the line moving. He knocks a single back up the middle. Later on in that inning, bases loaded for Blake Jones, and he flies this one deep to center field. Caught out there, but plenty deep enough to score the run. It's now 5-0 Lions. Bottom of the third, that's when the Mules start to wake up. MIAA Player of the Year Jacob Steele sends one to shallow center. a run will come in to score, and it's now 5-1 Lions. With the bases loaded and 1 out, Southern turns to Owen Schneider out of the bullpen. He strikes out the first man, then strikes out another. 2 huge outs, and the Lions escape from the jam, still up 5-1. From there on, it turns into the Owen Schneider show. In the 5th, the southpaw picks up 2 more swinging strikeouts. Now bottom 9, Southern up 7-2. Snyder trying to slam the door. He gets the first man to go down looking, then 2 outs. Schneider again, strike 3 looking. He finishes with 8 strikeouts, allowing just 1 hit and 1 run through 6 2/3. MSSU upsets the number 3 team in the country and advances to the MIAA tournament semifinals. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Gorillas take on Washburn. It's the MIAA quarterfinals. In the 3rd, Washburn has 2 men on, 2 outs. Caden Williams makes the catch there to save a run. In the 5th, Washburn's Cooper Carlgren still throwing a perfect game until Dagan Brewer knocks one to center for a single. Gorillas can't capitalize. We're still scoreless. In the 6th, Nixon Brandon sends one to deep right. Bobbled out there a couple of times, but caught by Darian Duhan. Now with 2 outs, Jake Skaggs sends it over the second baseman's head to right, but again, PSU can't bring him home. Still looking for their first run in the 7th, Pitt State runner on 3rd, 2 out. Hayden Dyer grounds to short, but the throw to first is wide. Gorillas score the first run of the game on an error. Ichabod's respond in the next inning, though. They tie it up, then with a man on second. Cash J grounds one off the base at second. A run will score. Washburn up 2-1, and the Ichabod shock 2-seed Gorillas 2-1. That ends PSU's hopes of an MIAA championship. While their baseball teams are participating in the MIAA tournament, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State softball, each of them play their first games at their respective NCAA regionals, which is double elimination until only 1 of 4 teams remain. Missouri Southern loses a heartbreaker. The Lions fall to Augustana 2-1 in extra innings. Andrea Kane hits a walk-off double in the 10th inning for the Vikings. The Lions get held to just 4 hits as a team for the entire game. 2 of those belong to Kylie Jacks. Pittsburgh State softball loses a tight one as well. Gorillas fall to Rogers State 2-1. This was tied into the 5th inning. That's when Kaylee Lyon hits a go-ahead single for the Hillcats. That proves to be the game winner. Gorillas and Lions, both of them down to their last life. That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
Music lovers make their way to the Bicknell Center in Pittsburgh to celebrate some elite area musicians. The annual 4-State Honor Band Festival strikes up today. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks takes us to the showcase.
This is one of our longest running festivals here, along with the Jazz Fest. This is our 41st year. It was, I think 1974 was our first one. So a couple reasons why we have this festival and why it's so important. The first one is this is just a great end of the year thing. So like at this point, a lot of the students have had their last contests, they've had their last concert, and this is an opportunity for them to like make music in a non-pressure environment. So like they're not getting judged or rated. They're here just for the music, and that's one of my favorite parts of this event. The other thing is we bring bands together from almost 40 schools from around the 4-state area, and a lot of them, like we arrange some very small schools. They might have like 17 people in their band to pretty big schools, but in this event they all come together and work together for one day and make music. So like if you imagine if there's someone in like a small school band, they get to play with a 100-piece band with some like world-class conductors on like some music that's harder than anything they would ever normally get to play. So like this is a chance for them to really like kind of stretch their legs and like challenge themselves in a way that they normally can't. So it's a fun kind of a end of the year event, but it's also a nice challenge for some of these talented students.
It's something I enjoy doing, and it kind of just wakes me up. Getting to meet new people and playing with people that I haven't ever really played with before.
So music education is vital to creating a creative, independent, hardworking society. These students most of them are not going to go on in music after high school. A lot of them are going to go out into other professions, but they're going to take what they've learned about working together, about perseverance, and about dedication, and they're going to take that with them for the rest of their lives.
Well, today's festival ended with a concert for family, friends, and the public this evening, and this marks the 41st year for the event. Sophia Carson is set to host Netflix's To Doom live event, and we get a first look at Stephen King's adaptation of The Long Walk. Those stories and more up next in Hollywood Nation. From Chris Evans facing questions to Mark Hamill's killer competition, Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the scoop on those stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
Qualley takes on Evans, Hamill leads a deadly march, and Carson hosts in the Hollywood Nation. Sophia Carson will take center stage at Netflix To Doom 2025, the live event. The Lifeless star will host the global fan celebration, featuring exclusive sneak previews and surprise performances. There will be special guest appearances from cast members of fan favorite shows and movies, including Happy Gilmore 2, Emily in Paris, Outer Banks, Stranger Things, and Squid Game. The annual presentation will take place at the Los Angeles Kia Forum and stream live May 31st.
Who's ready to win?
Lionsgate brings the Stephen King classic to life in today's first looks. The dystopian thriller The Long Walk is based on King's 1979 novel of the same name and stars Mark Hamill, Cooper Hoffman, and David Johnson. The story follows a group of young men taking part in an annual contest where they must walk without rest or face instant death. The film journeys into theaters September 12th.
I see a need and I fill it.
Margaret Qualley targets Chris Evans in the trailer for Honey Don't. The dark comedy features Qualley as a small-town private detective investigating a series of suspicious deaths tied to a local church run by Evans' character. The film will make its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival this month, followed by its theatrical release August 22nd.
This is God's punishment.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a southern white rhino CrossFit training at the Phoenix Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.